Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Weak Rogue Entertainment Podcast. We're your hosts, Lucien Barrows, and the idiot in disguise, Load Failure 404. How you doing tonight, Load Failure?
I'm doing good, Lucien. How are you doing?
Tired. Been a long day, helping set up shop here at your place. Long day.
I know, right?
And not to mention, worrying over starting our first podcast. So,
I know, but I've been looking forward to this for how many weeks now?
Several, at the very least. On the topic of the podcast, something we should start by going over is that we're going to be one of those podcasts that we just we go over whatever, right?
Pretty much.
We're going to talk about the occasional politics. As much as I don't like them, other people seem to, so, we'll go with it. Obviously, we're definitely of the nerd persuasion, so we're going to be talking about games, some sci-fi things. I know you just recently discovered steampunk. We can get into that in a bit.
I love it now.
We can get into that in a bit. We do enjoy most nerd things. I'm personally a fan of the Japanese stuff, like anime and manga. I know we both like our movies, our music, science stuff involving technology, genetic engineering, quantum physics, if we can understand it enough. And, whatever you can actually find in the science realm, it kind of interests us, except earth science isn't exactly my strongest point. Didn't do too well with that in high school.
Neither did I. I always wanted to take physics. I liked magnetic fields and chemicals that could make explosions.
You do like your explosions.
I do.
What guy doesn't? Nerd or not? I mean,
true.
Explosions are fun. Hell, I think they get plenty of girls wet while they're at it. That's another thing. I know I started off this podcast with, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, but honestly, if you're a child, you shouldn't be listening to this. There will be dirty words. We are not afraid to say damn, hell, piss, ass, or fuck. So, and some other words too, but it depends on the connotation that they'll be used in. So, it's like, don't expect to hear cunt or bitch too often.
No.
Not our style. Anyway, is there anything you want to start off with? I know we have a list of topics for our first outing, so why don't you go ahead and pick one?
Meat cloning.
That was one of the topics you chose.
That's kind of been recent in the news. I've read that about that the last week or the week before or something like that.
Right. I want to say I stumbled across something vague about it when I was looking through the science division of Reddit. I didn't exactly look into it because as interesting it was, I didn't care that day. So that's a common denominator for my life. Meat cloning. Honestly, okay, you know what? It's your topic, so you go ahead and give me what you think about it first.
Okay, meat cloning. Really? I mean, okay, that's cool. But really, if you think about it, how much money did it cost them to clone a hamburger? My God, it was only a hamburger. And it costs more than it does to raise an entire farm full of cattle. Okay, that don't make any sense. And the meat was dry, according to the article. I mean, my God, if you're gonna do it right. Make it edible. Don't just, make it taste like shoe leather. Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna throw my 2 cents on this one. The cost, from what you say, seems like it totally outweighs the idea, which is a downside, I will admit. But if we can, if we can increase the quality and decrease the amount it takes to get such a thing, I mean, this is still early stages.
True.
So if we let it go the course, and it can eventually get to that point where this could be that kind of thing we need to start ending world hunger. Now, it might still be a ways in the future,
Yeah.
and I know there's other methods out there that people are working on. I know there's a guy, who likes me, I wish I could, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up sometime. There's a guy that's been trying to genetically engineer crops for a few years now, and he's doing that so that the crops can be able to grow in harsher climates, colder climates, hotter climates. The guy managed to make it where certain crops that wouldn't normally be able to grow in Mexico can grow in Mexico in their rougher soil parts. So, I don't know, I think if we keep working on these different things like cloning meat, and it probably wasn't necessarily cloning a hamburger, that's probably just what they cooked it into.
Right.
Now, the meat being a little dry, you know what, I'm sure that there's plenty of starving people over in Ethiopia that would be more than happy to have a little bit of dry meat for the sake of having meat in their stomach.
Oh, yeah.
So, while I agree with you on some of your points, I still think it's a valid idea and a great gesture towards the future.
And
That it could be something that we could really, really use. And, and albeit on the topic of cloning, unless you have something more to add about the meat.
Well, actually, I do. I mean, and you're absolutely right. And I know I sounded harsh, but those were my first reactions to the article.
And, that's understandable. First reactions are first reactions. If you have someone to talk it out with, it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, but if you think about it, though, like you said, it's in the beginning stages, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as it gets, people might take better hold of it,
Right.
come up with a way to actually grow the fat around it, maybe, because that's what tenderizes your meat, right?
Absolutely. Nothing like good meat tenderizing.
Yep. Now, I know, right?
Yep.
But then you also take into consideration that when it gets to a point of easier to make your meat than to grow it, well then, sadly enough, we won't have the need really for cattle farms anymore. I mean, because the whole reason we raise livestock nowadays really is for the meat.
Which is true, most people really don't know what a farmer would use a cow for other than inevitably letting it grow up and then get slaughtered and turned into a tasty, tasty hamburger.
Or steak.
I'm hungry.
I know. I could go for a porterhouse.
Absolutely. I prefer like an Angus burger from Hardee's. But anyway, back on that topic of the meat cloning. Yes, granted that inevitably it could put some cattle farmers out of a job. But at the same time, there's still going to be plenty of people that are naysayers and don't want this cloned beef. Or, when it comes to it, pork. It may never taste the same as an actual hamburger, especially Angus, because Angus beef is awesome. And if it ever comes to pork, I mean, come on, man, you can't. I don't know if you can ever actually match the taste of bacon without it actually being bacon. So, I don't know. It's one of those things that may never hit standard of what we know and love and are used to so much. I just think that inevitably it can be used for the whole ending world hunger thing. There's people that don't get to eat beef or pork or anything along those lines. As far as I know, I don't know what they have over in Ethiopia. Feel kind of bad putting that in the topic and not actually knowing, but it's not something that really comes up in everyday conversation that often.
It's not.
Except for with people like us. But so I don't know. I think it can be a good thing, and I think that in the long run that they probably won't quite reach that standard of real beef or pork or lamb for you freaks out there that like eating little Bo Peep. Her sheep, my bad.
Hey, gyros are awesome.
I got nothing wrong with gyros. Honestly, I've never had lamb and I don't know. I'm just messing with people.
Okay.
I'm sure it's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, sorry about that. My bad. Anyway, the thing is, though, it could be one of those things that could be really handy. I mean, think about it. If you get into the idea of space exploration, which is a topic we can transition into here, if you get into the idea of space exploration, what are you going to want with you? Are you going to want a herd of fat-ass stinky cows that are going to take up even more room in your holds? Or do you want the potentially smaller facilities that you need to constantly clone that meat? Granted, it might not be as tasty, but we have these wonderful things called spices that can be really handy for a burger. In fact, sometimes when I make a burger, man, it doesn't taste like beef. It tastes like onion, garlic, and meat tenderizer. I overdo it on the spices sometimes, but still, it's one of those things that could be handy for the future in general.
Yeah.
It's and still allow people who have the normal jobs of livestock farmers can actually maintain their job if it's done right. If one doesn't try to push the other out, there should be able to be a balance made.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially for space exploration. I mean, because especially as we get to the point where we're able to go, they have a engine now that they claim will make it from Earth to Mars within 39 days or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I knew the that whole one-way mission. For those of you at home that can't see that, I did the air quotes. But the whole one-way mission thing. I heard that would take 5 months to get to Mars, and there wouldn't be enough to get back. So is that one that would take 39 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's still in development.
Okay. Well, do they know if, in theory, in theory it can get there in about 39 days? Can it get back? Will it have fuel to get back, or is it still technically a suicide mission?
Well, now if you think. It depends. It depends on what they're using for fuel in their rockets. If they're just using the normal propellants, well, yeah. But if they're using a nuclear rocket, then you should, in theory, be able to carry enough fuel, which is primarily hydrogen, to get back. Hydrogen's available anywhere in the galaxy. I mean, especially if they're finding traces of water on Mars, and they actually can find water, you can convert that to hydrogen really, really easily.
Not to mention that kind of thing too. It's like if we look at this in a longer range kind of thing. If you make it to Saturn, let's say, all right. If I'm not mistaken, aren't most of isn't the rings around Saturn essentially ice?
Yeah.
So that's always nice. And not to mention, I don't know what kind of gas Pluto and Saturn are made out of, but there's gas.
True. I actually do not know. I can look that up, and we can talk about that on some other podcast.
That's probably a good idea. I don't want to get too much into space exploration right on the first thing, because that can lead to fantasizing and all sorts of fun things like that.
I know, right?
That could get us lost for the next
3, 4, 5 hours.
I'd say days, but
well, I was being conservative, but you are right.
Fair enough. You know me, I'm not conservative, I'm realistic. There's a difference.
There is.
So let's see here. Let's take.
I'm a little bit of both, but today I feel conservative.
That's right. Okay, this brings me to our next topic. Something we have listed down as Google topic, which means what this was is I was looking on Reddit earlier today to try to give us something to talk about, because otherwise it'd be a lot of us sitting here going, and that's not as entertaining as most people might think without the actual video. So, I mean, especially if you saw it.
Yeah.
But, because we do the whole weird faces and everything. But the Google topic, what it is we found on Ask Reddit earlier today. What was it? Give me a second here. I think it was along the lines of, if you could go 10 years into the future, what was it? See, now I don't like this. Now we have, like, dead space and shit. I feel like an idiot. I probably am one. Okay. Here we go. If you went 10 years into the future and you could only make 5 Google searches before coming back, what would they be? This one was a topic that I brought up, so I'm going to allow you to go ahead and start us off on this one.
Oh,
and
me?
we'll see where we go from there.
But it's your topic.
Alright. 5 things. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, so this is all coming, just winging it. First and foremost, it would make no sense whatsoever to look for anything on myself. Because honestly, if I jumped into the future based on, let's say, quantum mechanics or physics or whatever, I can't remember which it is. If I were to go into the future, I would technically stop existing in what we know right now as the present time. Because there would be no me left behind to make any past when I get to the future. So there's no point in looking up myself except for to find out that, oh, hey, I disappeared randomly one day. And then...
I don't know, unless you're easily entertained, then you could, be entertained by that.
Which, yeah, that could be quite possible. And if that's your thing, okay, fine. We've seen many people showed up at your funeral, how many people actually mourned you, how many people got online and started bashing the hell out of you, whichever. I'm pretty sure mostly for me it'd be the people getting on there bashing me because, well, let's face it, nobody likes me. But...
Oh, come on.
Oh, no, I got nothing. That's about as good as I get.
Oh, okay.
But let's see here. I want to say... we were talking about this earlier. Sorry about that. This is Lucien phone. What I want to say is, earlier today we had talked about this with another friend and low failure here's fiance, and we were trying to decide what we'd actually go for. Personally, what I'd like to go for is, recently, in the past couple years, the lotto occasionally has gone higher and higher. We're getting closer to that line of $1 billion. What I'd like to look up is I'd like to find out when it hit that $1 billion, and then I'd like to find out the numbers. And then I'd be pretty happy with that. And, then I'd be able to go back, have all that stuff, and it'd be fine. Then I'd probably look up, I'd say I'd probably want to look up, why not be nice to the world and find out what the cure for cancer is. While I'm there, I've already done something for myself. I'm giving myself $1 billion or so, roughly, depending on what it gets up to. And all I have to do is sit and bide my time for a little while. Or be gone for a little bit longer, show back up right before, get a lottery ticket, and show back up to my friends and family saying, hey, bitches, I'm rich. Which would then shock the hell out of everybody. But...
you're alive, I went to your funeral. Oh.
I had a funeral? Sweet. Did anybody cry? No, everybody just laughing through it with the casket.
Oh, alright.
That's actually what I'd ask for.
It would be.
I'm pretty sure urination would come after onto the casket. But don't let my mom be there. That might actually upset her.
Yeah,
So,
that would.
she might get in on that. Yeah, who knows?
That'd be kind of weird.
I think that'd be awesome.
It'd be funny, but it'd be weird.
Yeah, it would be. Make sure you videotape it, just in case I come back in the future.
Okay.
Yeah. So remember,
if they never find someday,
if they never find the body, then assume I'm in the future and that I am going to come back someday and be really, really rich.
Right on.
So yeah. Also have the cure for cancer.
Okay.
Then
you heard it, folks.
Now that technically counts as 3 things. I have to look up when the amount is, and then when the big amount is, and then I have to look up the actual numbers for it probably. So I'll count that as 2 things.
Okay.
And the cancer will be number 3. So then I'm probably going to go ahead and look up a couple pieces of technology. What exactly? I don't know. I'd rather it not be weapons, something that, I don't know, can maybe help us with space travel. See if I can get the blueprints for it.
Warp drive.
Yeah, if that's possible. But let's be realistic here. This is only 10 years. I don't know if we can actually get warp drive in 10 years.
Oh.
The way
if it
humans work, I doubt it.
If NASA's in charge of it, it'll never happen.
Yeah, well, I'm going on the assumption that that's what it is. So, what else yet? But who knows? We might be able to get something, and then to come back, I give it that 10-year jump start, and then we're 10 years ahead already. So then we can move even faster. That's kind of the general idea of it. And then I don't know. With any luck, holographic technology.
Oh, nice.
I think I would like to bring a fully functioning holographic piece of technology, or not technology, but bring back the blueprints for it. And then once I get back with all that stuff, and I already have $1 billion or so, I can put all that money into making it.
Nice.
Advanced technology by 10 years in a couple of different fields, and be on top of the world. And then maybe find my ideal girl and settle down, now that I'm back amongst the living, so to speak. Anyway, that's my 5, so now.
Right
Remember, keep in
on.
mind, this is 10 years from now, so keep that in mind, and what's your 5?
Alright, I would look up, let me see here. I probably would assume that Microsoft would, at this point, would actually be doing better than Apple.
Or completely bankrupt.
Or completely bankrupt. So either way, I have to find out if that company even, is doing well.
Right,
Once I figure that out, I have to find out when their stocks were at a good rate, and then find out when they dropped again. And that way, I could come back, play the stock market, invest several thousand in stock, watch it jump sky high, and then jump out real quick. And then I'd probably do the same with Apple stock.
No, I wasn't paying complete attention. Was that 5?
Technically, you could go 4.
Okay, so pick a 5th.
You know what?
These are, it can be anything. Doesn't have to be
You
technology,
actually took mine, cancer.
You can have AIDS.
I actually was thinking AIDS, but I've seen a lot of people in my family die from cancer, so I'm like, man, I really hate that disease.
I completely understand that. I've seen enough people go down from it in my life too. Some closer than others. Some more annoying than others, but still, it's when it's family, it's sad.
Right.
That's this is the first one we'll go over this. That's a topic that we probably won't get into too much. We won't. We'll talk about our personal lives. We don't really have much of a problem with that because whatever, we're that kind of people. But when it gets into things like that, right now, my brother is dying from cancer. Doctors have said maybe a few months. They were wrong a year ago when they said that. I don't know. So, but it's not a touchy subject. It's just an annoying subject. My brother, yes, died of cancer. Very sad. My brother, kind of a huge dick, though. So, conflicted. Don't care to talk about it much outside of this. So, we're just going to get that out of the way right now. So, no worries. Now that I've brought the mood down, let's see about bringing it back up.
Alrighty.
Back on that subject of holographic technology, let's move that into the topic of games. Perhaps.
Ooh, games. I like games.
Most people do. Kind of a commonplace. Okay. I'm going to put you on the spot right here and now.
Uh-oh.
What do you think? First one off the top of your head, honestly, because it makes it easier that way.
Okay.
Instead of letting you think and be dead space for about a few minutes.
Oh, thanks.
Well, look, it'll be the same for me. What is your favorite game? Now, let's say it doesn't have to be of all time. It could be the one of just whatever your favorite right now. Just whatever comes to your head.
I've got to go with Counter-Strike.
Yeah, that's a good choice. We've put many hours for several years now into that game.
Yes.
You and me and some of our friends, we get together for LAN parties and things like that still, and play Counter-Strike Source. myself and another friend of ours, we play CS:GO occasionally. It's fun. It can be fun just getting together in a LAN party and going against bots, because God knows we're not the best.
No.
I've played online on CS:GO and got my ass stomped. So I'm not the best at that. It's totally different from like playing Halo Reach on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
So
Big,
that one
big difference.
I'm pretty good at. If it with the right person, we can be a great team. Counter-Strike, not the best. And I actually prefer PC gaming overall.
Yeah, same here.
If you had to ask me what my favorite one is, honestly, this one's probably not going to be surprising to most people and disappointed to others, because some people just don't get it, is right now, Minecraft. There's a certain nuance to it, if I could say. That would probably be my favorite game at the moment. My favorite game of all time is a little bit of a trickier one, because I've played a lot of different games. I've had a lot of different fun with them. I mean, like not only when we have our get-togethers, we don't just play Counter-Strike. We play like Supreme Commander 2. We play Killing Floor, which is a pretty brutal and badass game.
It is.
And if you haven't checked that out, I really do recommend at least looking into it at the very least, because it's worth it.
It really is.
Let's see.
Sometimes we go old school. We'll play Star Trek Armada.
Yeah, it was Star Trek Armada 2, technically.
Oh, Armada 2, my bad.
Which I do enjoy. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan ever. I know I'm a disgrace as a nerd, but I'm more of a Star Wars.
Forgive you.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. I'm more of a Star Wars person. I prefer to play the occasional Star Wars Battlefront 2. Playing that.
That's a pretty badass game.
Yeah, that one's fun, and we still sit there and play that. Me and another friend of ours, we'll sit there and we'll rock out an entire day wasted on Battlefront 2 just because we were really, really bored. I also like, personally, I don't think it's a game you've ever actually played. I'd love to get you into a game sometime because it's entertaining with more people, Civilization 5. The Civilization series has always been popular. It's
right.
The city builder and all that. It's a civilization sim. Well, the only reason why I got it was someone had gifted it to me because, well, I mean, I asked them to. They thought, they had a spare copy because they bought one and Steam gave them a secondary one, I think it was, something along those lines. So they had a spare copy one way or another. And they said, oh, well, I don't think it'll be your type of game. You know what? I'm willing to try just about any type of game because I like games. It's the same as music or movies or TV shows or anything like that. I'm willing to give it a try. Mm-hmm. And since he had it for free, why not send it to me? Because if I end up liking it, then we can eventually play a lot together, which we have. We've spent probably at least a week's worth of hours on playing that game together over the past several months, maybe almost a year now, I think, since I actually got my hands on it. I think. I can't guarantee that. He's been cool enough to, he got me the newest expansion, which was Brave New World. That was it. It actually adds, you might like this, it adds religion into the game. So you can you can actually get to the point in your civilization where you can choose a religion. You can choose what type of things they follow in that religion, get bonuses for it.
For real?
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
It's really cool. Civ 5 is a cool game in general, but adding in, the 2 expansions of the Gods and Kings and then Brave New World, there's some pretty cool content in it. And there's a lot of different civilizations to choose from. You can be these great heroes of the world, so to speak, like from anything like I think God dang it. You know what? I honestly can't remember many of the names off the top of my head. I've never really paid much attention to that. I usually pay attention to what kind of stats they have and what you get from being them.
Oh, cool.
But there's a lot of different civilizations. Like, you can be the early United States, and your leader is George Washington.
Really?
Absolutely. It's actually pretty neat. And for those of you who haven't played Civilization, I've never really played the other ones, but I played Civ 5. What you do in Civ 5 is you start at the very early civilization stage, and you build up. And as you build up, years go by, so to speak, and in that process you can gain newer technology until you're eventually up to the spacefaring age. That's actually one way to win a game, is by being the first one to reach the moon. So, or you can have a cultural victory, you can have just a war victory and all that stuff by destroying everybody around you.
Ooh, that can be fun too.
Any choice is honestly fun. I took a diplomatic victory one time when I was playing myself, and I actually convinced I started convincing every other region to start hating certain ones. I'd go to war with them, fight them a little bit, and then get everybody else to do the fighting for me. And inevitably I just broke all the other nations down until they just liked what I was doing and just came to me. So it's fun. You can be manipulative. You can be just straight up brutal. Whatever.
Oh, nice.
So it's probably one of my favorite games of all time, honestly, as well. Now, what about game series? What is there like a game series that you actually like the most?
Dude, I love Halo. I know that there's a lot of people who are going Halo, but they've had like what, 6 games now? Or
let's see, number 1, number 2, and number 3. We had Reach, we had Wars.
No, we had one in between 3 and Reach.
Oh wait, technically yes, but it came after number 3. That was that was
the OST or
ODST.
ODST.
Yeah. So okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach, Wars, and now number 4. So there's 7.
I've not played Wars just because it's more like a builder-based game type deal, and I do not like those games.
Yeah, you have the greatest of those.
And I just don't like them in general.
Yeah, we kind of.
I like first-person shooters. I like being able to see what I'm doing on the TV, interact with my environment, and things like that, and just I don't know. I fell in love with it, with Halo. But the first time I played it was on Xbox. Then I played it on computer, and I fell in love.
I think the first time that we both kind of started playing Halo was a friend of ours had it on his Xbox. He would come over, and it was usually you, him, my brother, and myself, and occasionally one of our other friends. And our friend that had the game in the Xbox, he actually had the Xbox modded.
I remember that now.
The wrong way that you're not supposed to, and you can get in deep trouble for. That's why we're not using names, even though the guy's a jackass. But
but we won't get him in trouble though.
Yeah. But he had a modded Xbox, and he had all these some of these crazy maps for the Halo game, and things
they
like that.
were crazy.
Yeah, and we kind of got into playing like that. But I think it was. Halo was the first one I think I ever actually played, not in Halo 1 was the first one I ever played, first FPS I ever played in multiplayer online, and that was on PC as well, because once I actually got a chance to play the story, I fell in love with the whole game. The multiplayer was fun. Since then, we've had our get-togethers where we've played Halo multiplayer and all that. I think Halo 2, things really picked up. We started getting a little into different game types and such. I think it was Halo 2 on the lockdown map, I think it was, that we would have our rocket rounds, and those were intense to say the least. You know, you eventually, me and someone else, we got to the point where we kind of learned how to hit a person properly with the rocket if they're trying to jump away or anything like that. But those were some of the most intense games I think we've ever had in multiplayer. Was those rocket rounds?
Oh, I
or
love
the ones,
those rocket rounds.
Or the ones where we'd all just meet in the middle of the lockdown or lockout map. I can't remember the name of the map. No people know what I'm talking about.
Lockout.
Lockout. Okay, lockout. But we meet in the middle of that map, and the idea was just not to shoot each other, just beat the shit out of each other.
Yep.
Punch. And then some asshole would always screw it up. It just depended on who was feeling at that time to decide to shoot. So,
or if I had a low kill moment and I went, well, it was more of a dyslexic moment because I'm left-handed, and so I'd be like punch, fire, and it'd be like, you asshole. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fire.
Pretty much. It's also a thing of, what was it, Halo 3, we didn't play as much. We kind of played that for a couple weeks after we got our hands on it.
But it wasn't as good.
No, because we usually just played, just 4 people on a box, screen looking was possible, all that kind of bullshit that you do with your friends kind of deal. And it just wasn't as fun on those big maps with only 4 people. So we kind of migrated back to number 2. Then Reach came out, and a friend got it, and he played it for a little bit. I played the campaign. I beat it on Legendary by myself. That took me a week. I systematically, bit by bit, went up in the difficulty. I think I just kind of skipped Heroic and went to Legendary because I thought, alright, I'll get it Brawl, whatever. So I went through Legendary. Took me a week to get through all that finally, bit by bit, giving up occasionally, swearing at my TV, wanting to turn my controller through a window and or wall. But after that we decided, okay, we're going to try multiplayer on this. And they had Firefight, and they had the multiplayer and all that stuff, and it was fun. But we finally decided, you know what, let's jump out of our shells here. Let's take the opportunity to finally jump out onto the online circuit and see what we come up with. And we did free-for-alls and all that stuff, to where we'd still get to kill each other. But honestly, that always became problematic. Us always killing each other, somebody's always bitching. And yeah, that happens a lot. I don't care who you are, if you're deep enough into an FPS, you're going to bitch at the guy who just shot you.
Yes, you are.
Because we bitched at you a lot. We always called you on screen looking, even though you denied it every time, but we had
only because I never screen... Okay, I screen looked maybe a couple of times.
I call bullshit because we caught you once in a great little trap. We sent you downstairs when the asshole with the modded Xbox was living with us. Now, we sent you downstairs to play on his system for Halo 2. And me and one of our other friends stayed upstairs, and we played on the Xbox up there. And suddenly, your good skills that you supposedly had dropped just horribly because you couldn't see our screens anymore. And you guys were on a team, and we were on a team, and you couldn't see what we were doing, and you got your ass handed to you.
Okay, fine. We'll go with that.
Right. You can deny it all you want, but you're a horrible liar. But anyway, eventually it got to the point where we started doing team games in Reach. And ever since then, it became kind of a staple for us for the past couple of years, for the most part, on Friday nights. Most of the time, we'd sit down, 4 of us would get together, we'd sit down, and we'd hop on Reach. And we'd either go out and stomp or get stomped. And, that's one thing I like about video games. There's a lot of people out there that will bastardize and bash their video games, including the FPS games especially, and any other really violent video game. But hell, what video game isn't violent these days?
Right.
Which is fine, I'm fine with. It's okay. The problem I have is, every time something goes wrong, somebody shoots up a school and all that horrible shit, they always look for that game system or that game that they have. They specifically look there, but it's like, oh, hey, this person had an Xbox 360 in their house and they shot up a school. They had Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty. That seems to be the more commonplace one right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, it's all because of video game. No, you know what, man? You guys probably found clothes in the guy's room too. Did that make him want to kill people? No. These things are items. Not all video games are going to make all people want to kill all other people. It's bullshit. It really is.
The way I see it is if somebody's gonna snap, they're gonna snap.
It's that kind of thing that there was something wrong with in the first place.
Exactly. Now keep in mind that I'm 29, almost 30, and
Sorry.
I've been, I know, I'm letting my age out here.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm the same age.
But here's my point, that when I was, 7, 8, I got to watch Terminator 2. I played violent video games, like Duck Hunt. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding,
Hey, man, you shoot the dog, right?
I tried. But then when there was another game that came out in 93 or 94 called Wolfenstein. There was another one called Lethal Tender. They were where you killed people and things and whatever.
Scorched Earth, man.
Yes, it's Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth out there. If you want to go on the other people, what they say, Scorched Earth promotes war.
But let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
I don't really want to go out and kill people. I don't want to go out and, blow things up just to be a menace. Yes, but I like blowing
like
things.
Explosions.
I like to blow. I like explosions because I like explosions.
We're guys.
We're guys. And it I don't know.
Okay, let me put it this way. You and I were kind of in the same boat in high school. We got bullied.
Yep.
Right? People didn't like us because we acted different. We were the nerds. We were the nerdiest of the nerds, pretty much.
Yes.
I was that quiet, awkward guy. And honestly, hell, if you guys met me on the street, I'd still be that quiet, awkward guy. I've never kind of grown out of that stage in my life. But we were the ones that people took shit out of. We were the ones that weren't liked because we were different in our own ways. Now, I played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, showing my age here too. I played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas when I was in high school. Technically, would have been in high school. Would have been a senior that year if I hadn't dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
Life fail. But I tell you what, when I sat there and played Grand Theft Auto, it never made me want to go back to that school and shoot all the people that pissed me off or picked on me, because god dang it, most of that school would be dead in high school.
Right.
Albeit something went wrong in somebody else's head and they did try to burn the school down.
Yeah. Now that's true. And you know what? I had one of the girls actually told me, she goes, well, I'm surprised that so-and-so didn't come back and try and blow things up and whatever and shoot everybody. And I looked at her and I go, why? He's never given any indication.
What? You're talking about me?
Yeah, she was talking about you. I looked at her and I go, are you nuts? I'm like...
that's the thing. I never wanted to destroy that school. Yes, I hated the people in it. Because, you know what? A lot of them looked down on me. They treated me like a freak and an outcast. And you know what? Thinking back on it, it was nice. It was kind of peaceful, really. And if they weren't bullying me, they weren't talking to me.
Yeah.
And there was only really like 2 people that I could think of that really tried to pick fights with me, and I outsmarted them all the time. That's the greatest thing.
Well, that's because they were drunks and druggies.
No, the druggies never bothered me. The druggies I was friends with. The drunks, and the preppy drunks, they were the ones that were the problem. But there was only 2 that really
also did drugs too.
Oh yeah, one of them did.
Yeah.
But there was 2 that only ever really tried to fuck with me, and I outsmarted them a lot.
Well, that's because you're smarter than... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason why I dropped out of high school was because I was bored, I hated it, I didn't like any of the people there, I was being treated like shit, and most of the teaching staff didn't give a flying fuck about me. So it just got to the point of, I was unwanted, I realized that, and I'm pretty sure that not many people actually missed me. Because We live in a small town. Most of the friends that I had in high school knew exactly where I lived. I was about a 5-10 minute walk from the school. 10 minute, we'll say. Probably
Yeah.
about a 10-15 minute walk from the school, really. Other side of town, not that big of a deal. Our town is maybe quite literally, what, a mile and a half, 2 miles long?
Yeah.
From one side to the other. So,
Yep.
and that's not counting the trailer park that's on the other
No,
side.
that's...
So, it was never a big deal if they wanted to see me. They knew where I lived and all that. I still got to see plenty of my friends and chat with them off and on throughout the years. And I've stayed close to you and one of my other friends since high school. But dealing with those people and playing Grand Theft Auto, or at the time, another kind of popular one was the first Killzone game. Killzone 2.
Killzone 2. Yep.
Playing games like that, they didn't make me want to go and shoot people. Let's not forget Grand Theft Auto and Grand Theft Auto 3, I should say,
Yes.
and Vice City. Through my high school career, I had GTA 3, I had GTA Vice City, and I had at the very end it would have been GTA San Andreas. And I played all of them. Like crazy, I played all of them.
Oh,
But
I
none of them
remember.
made me want to go and kill people. I actually had a talk with my mom, I think, around that time, and she had said something like that. I was like, no, you know what these games do for me? These games allow me to blow off that anger and steam that I have built up from these assholes at school. This
Yep.
is what I do to blow off my steam. I come home, I play my games, and it allows me to get rid of my anger and relax. Because why sit there and be that bad guy and go off and kill a bunch of people?
Yeah.
The only reason why people do that is not because of video games, it's because they obviously have something wrong with them in the first place. Should they be allowed to be around violent video games? No. If they're impressionable, even at the age of like 17, 18, if they're still easily swayed by fantasy to where they act it out in reality, then no, I think they should be kept away from certain video games.
Well, yeah.
If not all video games. Most video games have gotten violent these
But,
days.
but now, the thing is, though, it falls on the parents. And the
Absolutely.
And the problem nowadays is that the parents don't care. Or I'll back up. Most parents do care, but you might have both parents who work during the day and whatever. So, the child may not have that stability in the home. Where I had one parent who worked out of the home, one parent who was self-employed, stayed home, right? And throughout my life, that got flip-flopped around. But either way, I always had a parent home. It always helped to ground me.
Yeah.
My parents are not just my parents, they're my friends. And I think that's what a lot of kids nowadays are missing.
I completely agree with you. I think I've seen too many indications in the newer generations of just spoiled little bastards. Is the best way to put it. I mean, I'm not saying all of them.
Right.
There's plenty of good kids out there, I'm sure. But I have seen too many indications these days of spoiled little bastards. They want this game. Well, their parents don't give a flying fuck about the age restriction. It's, oh, my kid wants it, I'm going to buy it for him. Part of that is because parents, a lot of those people are younger, or our generation, or the generation before us. They were the people that got told no because video games weren't always the big thing or something like that. A lot of technology that was coming out when we were growing up was expensive. It's crap. And some of it still is, but it's like, there's a thing, if they were probably told no a lot. And a lot of them get that idea of, I'm going to be new, I'm not going to be like my parents, I'm going to tell my kids yes. No, I could be completely wrong here. And if I am, tell me, and if you can't come up with a good reason why I am, go fuck yourself. But, when it comes down to it, it's all on the parents that if you don't know your kid, if you don't know there's something wrong with your kid, then you don't know your kid. Alright? My mom, I grew up with a single mom. Now, granted, in my younger years, my grandma and my grandpa were there for us to watch us. My aunt and uncle have always been there for us to watch us until my aunt passed away, God rest her soul. But that was and I was done with. I had already stopped going to college at that point. So, but you know, I always had a family there because my mom, she was a single parent and she worked her ass off for us. But despite all that, despite only having one parent who worked all the time, she always had time for us. She always had time to know what was going on. She had time to know if we were upset. She could tell because she was a parent. She still is a parent. She still knows me probably better than anybody else. Though I try my best to be a very confusing individual so that I can't ever be pegged completely, but that's just my personal bravado. Now, but there's too many parents that just don't know their kids. They're just trying to please their kids so that they can live their lives the way they want, blah, blah, make my child happy and all that shit. And so they buy their kids their stuff. And then that 1 in a million kid goes out and shoots people and, you know, and then it's a big shitstorm about video games causing it. But it's the parent. They let the kid play that kind of video game that incorporates violence, and it just, yeah. But you've got something.
Well, it's kind of like in recent news. What was it? This is from, yeah, I don't even know what day this is from. I'm looking right at the site. But, it's Louisiana, 8-year-old boy from Louisiana intentionally shot and killed his elderly caregiver after playing a violent video game.
Okay, there it is.
You know, okay, so what, you know, like, and I heard, like, where I work, they in the break room, they play Fox News and CNN and whatever, you know.
Right.
So I'm kind of forced to listen to this crap all the time.
Yeah,
And
be Fox News.
yeah, in the break room. So I heard a little bit about this, and they, you know, they're thinking that it's the game that's responsible, and yet it goes back to what we were saying. He was allowed to play this game. They allowed him to play a violent game.
How old was he, did it say?
8.
Was it? Yeah, okay.
8.
It's not just allowing him to play a violent video game. It's allowing an 8-year-old to play a violent video game.
I did not...
By violent video game, I can imagine something along the lines of Grand Theft Auto 4 being the recent one out of time.
I think that's what it was.
So who the fuck lets their 8-year-old kid play Grand Theft Auto? Any version of it. In what world is that a smart fucking thing to do? That is the problem. That right there is the issue with video game violence and all that. Yes, the violence in the video games sells the games. And I'm not going to take that away. I like violent video games because, again, it helps me get the anger out, man. I love the Saints Row series. I can't wait to get my hands on number 4. It looks like an awesome game. Haven't had a chance to touch it yet because of money issues, but I'm hoping to get it within the next week or so. So yeah, that aside, yeah, I love those games, but I've never wanted to go off and start killing a bunch of people because I've got it. Why? Because I've always been a little bit more mature. When I started playing the Grand Theft Auto games when I was like 14, 15, whatever, I was more mature than most people in our school. Maybe you included, depending. But I can't guarantee that. But when it comes down to it, I play those games and I didn't want to kill anybody. I got all my killing out in the video game. It was fun, it was entertaining, it was fantasy. I knew damn well that there was no good reason for me to decide I wanted to shoot a real person in real life. It didn't make any sense to me. But this is an 8-year-old kid. That is one of the most impressionable times in a kid's life. It's anywhere between the ages of like 6 to 16. Okay, maybe that might be a bit much. We'll say 6 to 12. Kids are still developing parts of their personality and preparing for high school and all that stuff in their life. And it's a thing of they're so impressionable with everything.
It's Grand Theft Auto, what, 4?
Yeah, it's 4. It's Grand Theft Auto 4. See, so an 8-year-old should not be playing Grand Theft Auto 4 because this is a very impressionable time in their life. If they see this as being what can happen, they're going to see it as what's alright to do. and it just doesn't make any sense. Who's to blame on this one? The parent.
Yep.
There's
Or
no doubt
whoever the caregiver is. You know.
Even that.
Okay, now the caregiver was said to be 90 years old, right?
So, you know, perhaps. I'm sorry, that was me.
Well, I won't even say that, but just ignorant. Now, for people who aren't aware of what the word ignorant is, I'm going to explain the term ignorant. Okay? It does not mean stupid at all. It just simply means uninformed. So, okay, with that groundwork laid, she was just a ignorant individual.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the caretaker, being 90 years old, probably looked at it as, all right, this kid's doing something that's keeping him occupied and entertained.
Well, yeah.
That's fine. He's not being loud or rowdy or anything like that. And yeah, that's fine. Good video games for an 8-year-old kid can do that kind of thing.
Yes.
But Grand Theft Auto, again, is not a good video game for an 8-year-old kid.
And when she had, you know, I'm sure this was, well, it says grandmother. Okay, I've got, okay. Well,
grandmother's not a caretaker, probably.
Think about when she had kids. You know, she probably just said, okay, turn on the TV, you know, let them watch, you know, I don't know what would have been on at the time, probably like Howdy Doody or Fred Astaire or something like that, you know.
Depends on how far back we go.
Right.
If we go back to
the
60s, Red Skelton.
I'm just thinking because 90s, and my grandmother is 82, you know, and all that, so I'm just thinking, you know.
I mean, like, hell, when I was growing up around my grandma, I spent a lot of time with my great grandmother too, who was, you know, in her 90s by the time she passed away. My great grandmother loved Tom and Jerry.
Oh yeah.
I grew up on Tom and Jerry. That shit was violent as hell. But even then, as a young kid, I never sat there and thought, man, I just saw Jerry drop a hammer on Tom's foot. I want to do that to my brother.
Or even the Three Stooges.
Absolutely,
they
dribble
knocked
that
the
too.
holy crap out of each other.
How many times did Bugs Bunny get Elmer Fudd to shoot himself in the face?
Oh my gosh! Or even Daffy Duck got his own face blown off. Never in my mind did I say, I wonder if that actually would work. I always knew that was a cartoon, that was not real. Nowadays,
because nothing was as wrong with us then as it is now.
Well, we're more not there in all the right places.
Yeah, and so, I mean, but is the thing of, so obviously, you know, it was like the thing of, I never once thought, hey, I'm gonna go find a gun and just...
I know, right?
So, let's see here. Congratulations for those who are still sticking with us. At this moment, we are actually coming up on our 1 hour mark for the first ever idiot fuckfest. I mean the Week Rogue Entertainment podcast.
Yes. Well, either way you want to look at it,
it all depends. Let's see here. We've touched on the Google topic. We've touched on video games, while simultaneously, to some degree, touching on the gun politics topic. We wanted to touch on.
It just kind of worked in, not planned.
The meat cloning, let's see here.
A little bit on space.
A little bit on space, a little bit on TV, which I didn't actually plan for this week, which is fine. Let's see, things we've got left in general topic before we run out of ideas and go to Reddit. We've got movies, which should be fun.
Yeah.
I've seen some pretty decent ones recently. I found a website that I can watch them on.
Oh boy!
And we'll just, I won't say which ones I've watched on there or which ones I've gone to the theater for or anything like that. But, yeah. Okay. What is one movie you'd like to see right now?
Oblivion. Or not what's the other one? Shoot, I've seen Oblivion.
I haven't seen that one, but while he's brain farting,
yes.
I'd like to say that this is the part where I'm going to warn you ahead of time of potential spoilers. We are not going to cut and or edit anything. for spoilers, and especially if it's something that's on DVD and has been on DVD for some time now. If you haven't seen it yet, that's your own fault. So, watch it. Because also, we're horrible at explaining shit. So we won't give away too much probably by accident.
Probably not.
So yeah.
Olympus Has Fallen.
Okay, that one I did watch the other day, actually.
Oh, really?
When I was sitting with my brother.
Pretty good?
Okay, let's put it this way. There's 2 movies that came out this year about the White House falling. Olympus Has Fallen and the somewhat less serious White House Down.
It's less serious?
There's a little bit more comedy routine between Jamie Foxx and, what's his name? The guy that played Duke in G.I. Joe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Channing Tatum. That's who it is. It turns into one of those kind of buddy films kind of deal.
Right on.
Personally, okay, let's look at it this way. Olympus Has Fallen, it was done in the sense of what would more realistically happen if a terrorist decided to attack the White House.
Right.
So in that sense, it was good. I can appreciate how they did it and how brutal it could be at some points. And that's, being able to say it without ruining anything. So we're constantly not spoiling it. But, I do recommend watching it sometime. It still is a worthwhile watch, with some good action in it. The cast is pretty solid too, I think. Though I honestly can't name anybody in the cast off the top of my head. There's a guy in there, I've seen him in several movies before, but I never can remember the guy's name. So, but that aside, now, White House Down. We have Channing Tatum, Jamie Foxx, 2 guys that can do, Jamie Foxx has always been good with comedy, and Channing Tatum can, in movies, the very least as far as I can tell, do some action/comedy stuff. I mean, he was pretty good in a G.I. Joe, he was pretty good in the second G.I. Joe movie, and then bullshit happened.
Yes, I agree.
I still call bullshit on that, but we'll get into that some other time when it's been out on DVD for a little while. We'll get into it.
Yeah. And everybody else has gone, really?
Everybody else has said, what the hell, and cry bullshit.
Yes.
But, what is it? White House Down. I think I like that one a lot better. I think for something a little less realistic, still realistic, but a little less realistic as far as terrorist attack kind of goes, it wasn't. I can say this: you can watch both movies and you can enjoy both movies without thinking you've seen the same movie.
Oh, that's good.
So, because things are done quite differently in the stories. That makes it worthwhile. Yes, in both stories, you've got that one guy who, just so happens to be either near the White House or just happens to be in the White House, in the case of White House Down, won the terrorist attack, who's, really good at kicking people's ass, and so he goes on and does what he's really good at.
So they have Bruce Willis in it?
No. First name for Chuck Norris.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's one of those things that both, they conveniently have the hero around and all that stuff, which is understandable. You need the hero to be there. It makes it work better than having to spend that extra time getting the hero work into the White House and all that stuff. But,
because I personally think it would be a good new Die Hard movie to have Bruce Willis in the White House. That would be pretty badass.
Die Hard for Liberty.
Yes, either that or Chuck Norris and Bruce Willis.
Whoever owns Die Hard, just keep that one in mind, and keep us in mind when you decide on that.
Yes, please do.
If you please. I'm not asking for much, just, 0.5% royalties, that's all. That should be more than enough of a Bruce Willis film. Because I hate to take away from the boss.
What, 0.5 for each?
Yeah, so we only get a total 1% off of any royalties or anything like that, but it's pretty good.
I mean, if you think about it, and you get like 1 million or a couple billion
because it's a Die Hard movie, so why not?
So, yeah.
Because people will always go and see a Die Hard movie.
Exactly.
Anyway. But yeah, I'd say I preferred White House Down. Honestly, I think the story kept me more into it. The characters definitely kept me into it, because there was, the characters that were more focused on, it wasn't just, hey, like in Olympus Has Fallen, it was focused on the president, the main terrorist, and the guy trying to kick all the terrorists' ass. But White House Down was focused on, the leader of the bad guys, the second in command, the hero's daughter, and the president. There was just more characters for it to focus on that made it a little bit more interesting and intense. Oh, also the people working in the control. Plus, the ending was kind of... some people won't see it coming. It's one of those kind of endings. It makes it interesting. So I'd say White House Down, definitely watch that one. But Olympus Has Fallen is still a good one, and it won't feel like you're watching the same movie twice.
No, and that's good to know, because when I seen the 2 previews, I went, really? Another just copycat? Are you kidding?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was thinking the same thing, because Olympus Has Fallen was the first one advertised, and then White House Down came second after that.
Another one, though, that I did watch the other day was Oblivion. And it's
I was worried about that one. I didn't know how I'd feel about it. What do you think?
Dude, at the ending, I went, really? That's how you're going to end it? And they kind of just pulled one of those switcheroos, and I was like, okay, that seems like a little bit better of an ending. But...
See, okay, the question for that is, was it one of those endings that you still saw coming?
No.
Okay.
I thought about it.
Right.
I actually went, well, if they leave it there because there's the other guy,
Right.
You've seen it, right?
No.
No. Okay, and so...
It's on my list.
Oh, I do recommend seeing it, because they leave it to where you could either have had a sequel, or you could have just ended it, the way they did.
Right.
Which I really was glad they didn't just leave it, at the, where you just kind of went, no, they died! And, and then it was kind of like, okay, weird. I mean, and I'm really trying not to give anything away for people who have not seen this. I recommend it, especially for like sci-fi people, end of the world type people. This kind of is kind of like a humanity has hope type deal. And also for those of you who are going, machines are gonna take over the world. That's another thing for you.
There is one movie I really want to talk about, actually.
Oh, boy.
I think that, from what I could tell, it never had the hype that it really needed while being advertised for in the theaters. I saw it get hyped out the ass the other day on TV for when it's coming out on DVD, but I never saw it hyped enough to see the play. It's a movie called Now You See Me. And it basically, the way the trailers make you think it is about a bunch of Robin Hood-esque bank robbing magicians. It sounds really weird, I know. I'll show you a trailer later, but it's the trailers, I should say, never do it enough justice. You get to see some neat effects and all that stuff in the trailers and all that stuff, but it never gives it the story enough justice. Let's see here. Here's an indication of what makes it a great movie. For starters, Morgan Freeman's in it.
Which is always...
it automatically makes it a good movie.
He was in Olympus Has Fallen and Oblivion.
Yeah, he was in a lot of things.
So...
kind of like The Rock, but
Morgan Freeman's just...
I've never seen him in a bad movie.
No, neither have I.
I've never seen all his movies, but I've never seen him in a bad one that I've actually watched.
The same here.
So, let's see. You've also got Jesse Eisenberg. You probably know him mostly from, let's see here, what do we got? Yeah, he was the guy from Zombieland.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, don't get tired on me yet. You also have,
I'll just have an energy drink later.
You also have Woody Harrelson.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, I know. It's
Not Woody Harrelson. Oh
There's a
my
good joke in there
God,
somewhere.
no.
Let's see here. Dave Franco, Isla Fisher. Those are some of the
Every
more...
time I think of Woody Harrelson, I think of Cheers, and then I think of Indecent Proposal, and then I think of White Boy Can't Jump, or what was that?
Yeah, I think
White Boy Can't Jump.
White Boys Can't Jump, something like that.
And I just went, oh my God.
Honestly, I forget about a lot of the things that go from Cheers to Zombieland.
I know, but I just think of all the ones that he's done in his career that just kind of made me want to go, really, dude? Why?
Here's another good actor in the movie, Mark Ruffalo. Do you know who that is?
Don't know.
Mark Ruffalo played Bruce Banner in The Avengers. Hulk?
Serious?
Yep.
Yeah, he did a very good job in Avengers.
Yeah, he did a really good job in Now You See Me. The thing is, I think the thing is, like why I say the trailers haven't done the movie any justice, is because they make it so much about the magicians in the trailer, but in all actuality, it's more about Mark Ruffalo's character, Dylan Rhodes, who is actually an FBI agent trying to, at the very least, they take him into custody after the first crime, but they have to let him go because they really haven't got anything on him, and blah, 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 and all this. It makes sense better than I can actually tell. But from that point on, it's his goal to try to catch him in the act and bring him down for any other crimes they commit, which they do commit a couple more throughout the movie. But the movie really falls around Mark Ruffalo's character and this female Interpol agent more than it does the magicians. They're kind of a side act, but at the same time, they still seem like part of the major act. And I can't give away too much because it has one of those endings of, I didn't quite see that one coming. Those are the kind of movies I like. I've watched enough movies and TV shows in my lifetime that I've seen plenty where it's like, oh yeah, I saw that and coming a mile away,
Right.
Especially as someone who likes to write, I understand the stories a little bit more. I'm maybe not the greatest writer in the world. I'm not going to toot my own horn that much, but it's one of the things about I understand the stories enough.
Right.
So when you've got a movie that pulls out an ending that actually surprises me, it becomes a good movie in my mind. Or if it's a movie that keeps me constantly thinking. One of my favorite movies of all time is a movie called Mindhunters. It was one of the first ones I've ever seen that really made me go, wow, I really didn't see that coming. And it was a B-class rated movie.
Really?
The biggest star in it was LL Cool J. And that was before NCIS Los Angeles, so, before he became bigger again. But yeah, it was one of those movies that made you think. The Attic Expeditions, the biggest star on that was Seth Green, who's usually more of a TV star than anything. Instead of just, he's done a few movies, but not big enough. But it's a really little known movie that he did. He wasn't like the main character in it, but it was a great movie. Yeah, it twisted your brain like no tomorrow.
I don't think I am familiar with that.
Most people have probably never even heard of that movie. So, let's see. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That one twisted your brain a little bit. The Saw movies. Because I don't like them because of the gore, the blood, the guts, the twistiness of it. As interesting as some of that is to me, it's not the main reason. I'm always there for the twist. Big spoiler, but if you haven't seen the first Saw movie, you're probably never going to watch it. Don't worry about it. What happens at the end is, if you've seen anything from the movie, the entire time there's a dead guy laying in the middle of the floor, where you got the one dude chained over here, one dude chained over here, and you got the big guy laying in the middle there. The entire movie. After the older doctor cuts his foot off, and he can really get up, and more or less drags his ass out of this room to go find help for him because he's cut his fucking foot off, and the other younger guy that was locked in there with him. So he never comes back. Sorry, spoiler. As soon as he's finally, far enough gone down the hallway or whatever, the dead body in the middle of the room gets up, reveals, hey, I'm the bad guy, I'm the killer, more or less, not in that grand of tone or anything.
No.
But just something more simplistic and less wordy. And then, walks out of the room. Never saw it coming. These are all... Yeah, never once saw it coming. So it amazed me to see that, and I became a fan of the series ever since to see where to go from there. So I love movies like that, like where you don't expect that ending. Like I think my favorite ending of all time has to be from the movie Mist. Now, Mist, for those who don't know, is a movie that takes place in a small little mountain town. Where exactly, I'm not sure off the top of my head. It's been a couple of years since I've seen it. But in this little town, somewhere up on one of the top of the mountains, there's a government lab that's doing experiments up there.
Oh boy.
What they do is they accidentally open a portal to another dimension.
Yay.
And all these monsters, some, about as big as somebody's head, and some as big as the fucking mountain itself, come crawling out of this portal and basically start wreaking havoc on this small town and most, other places around it.
So basically the Flood.
And more or less, yes, the Flood without the absorption abilities, really.
Oh boy.
And it's all being done within a fog, really, so you can't really always see what's coming.
Oh.
But...
Stephen King.
Exactly, Stephen King. But the thing is from what I understood, I heard recently that the ending, I've never read the book, but Stephen King, after he saw the ending of the movie, said to the director, I wish I wrote that ending, because the ending had such a twist on it. Anyway, so the ending is...
I think I need to go see this movie now.
Yeah, the ending is, I'm going to ruin it for you, because I have to say it, because it's worth it.
That's fine.
And let him hear. The ending is basically, 4 people finally make it out of the supermarket where they've been trapped in.
Mm-hmm.
A guy, his son, and this elderly couple. They get so far, they have a revolver with them and all that, blah, blah, blah. Because, why not have a gun with them? Anyway, they get so far away from the town and all that, and they know they can only go so far, so the guy stops the Bronco, I think it was, or something like that. And they make the decision of, there's only 3 bullets and there's 4 of us, so the guy decides, alright, I'll be the one left, I'll face these creatures on my own and get ripped to shreds, basically. Because that's kind of what happens. So, he shoots the old couple, he shoots his kid, so that they don't have to suffer in this kind of hellish, messed up world anymore, because they don't know what's going to happen. They thought the world was doomed. And so he gets out of his truck, waiting for one of these monsters to come and tear him to pieces, and the next thing he sees is the fog starting to clear and the military running down the street as they're starting to clean up the fucking mess. That is how The Mist ends.
What?
That is one of the most amazing endings I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That is crazy, dude.
But, let's look at this. As far as favorite movies, I think a couple of my favorite movies has always been Troy and The Last Samurai. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan, him as a person, but God, he's a good actor.
This is true.
I hate to admit it, but he's a good actor, man. So, and he was great in The Last Samurai. So, but what about you? What's your favorite movie? I mean, okay, let's put the obvious nerddom of Star Trek and Star Wars aside, and go from there. Right? I know, because obviously mine would be Star Wars, all of them.
Okay.
So let's put those aside and pick from something else.
Oh shoot, man, that's kind of hard. I would have to say my favorite movie would have to be, and you know what? I'd have to go with Terminator.
Right
Either
on.
Terminator or Terminator 2. Shit, I'll just go with all of them except for Terminator, the newest Terminator that came out. Few years. Terminator Salvation, was it? That kind of
think
sucked.
so.
It was its own Terminator in its own right, but it didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger actually doing anything, so it kind of sucked in that way. But it was kind of cool, kind of not. But the first, second, and third one were good.
Right.
You know.
I'm ashamed to say, as a nerd, I don't think I've ever actually seen the third one, and I can't remember if I've ever seen the second one off the top of my head.
Dude.
I know I grew up watching the first one, saw it God knows how many times, kind of the same way with Star Wars. I grew up watching it, my grandma had that shit recorded from HBO on VHS, so I watched it at least once a summer when I was growing up as a kid. So it's kind of, it was there. That's why I've always been a nerd. That's why I've always been a fan of Star Wars. And even to a lesser degree for me, Star Trek. But, this is kind of...
I will help you in your nerdification.
Oh, I'm already nerdified. It's just a matter of, where that nerdification goes. It's kind of thing of, like I was saying at the beginning of the cast, some of my specialties fall into the district of anime and manga. My nerdification lies in different kind of things. I could talk for days about some of the animes I've seen, or some of the mangas I've read. Done it before. We went for about 48 hours of that slate. I'm kidding. That's bullshit. My voice would be hell by then. So, not going to happen.
Yeah. And really, who would want to listen to a 48-hour podcast?
About anime from two 30-year-olds. Well, 29-year-olds, but
yeah,
whatever, close enough.
Same difference.
I mean, what? You're going to be 30 here in December, and then I've got another half a year after that, and I'm right there with you.
Yep, pretty much.
So, shit, I feel old. So if we start talking about old things, if we start talking about things that you consider old, you're in the wrong place. Go somewhere else. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Like in the idea of music, I tell you what, I grew up with
Metallica!
Metallica sucks.
When they came out with the Load and Reload, after Load came out, there were a few songs that were okay-ish, but then after Reload, I just went, what the hell, guys?
I mean, let me tell you something. I already understand I'm going to be completely flamed by this shit for saying Metallica sucks. But you know what? That's my personal preference, and that's what I believe in.
Yeah.
I love the Black Album.
Yes!
The Black Album was awesome. That was good Metallica.
Right,
Anything
the lightning was good.
Anything before that, I couldn't get into. Anything after that, I really didn't like. One reason why I say Metallica sucks, really, though, Saint Anger. What
I can listen to that. I don't know.
That was the biggest steaming pile of piece of shit I had seen since Pootie Tang. Oh, you don't remember what Pootie Tang was? It was a movie made by MTV. I think it was their first one.
Yep.
It was probably
pitiful.
The second biggest piece of shit I've seen, actually. Metallica, Saint Anger, I'm going to be the third. Worst thing I've ever seen in my life, biggest steaming pile of shit, was probably the Battle of Los Angeles movie. Not to be confused with Battle of Los Angeles movie, which was the big blockbuster hit. Battle of Los Angeles was a really, 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 really shitty Sci-Fi Channel knockoff, and something that even the Sci-Fi Channel, with all their weird-ass movies, should be ashamed of. It's one of those things that's be locked away deep, deep, deep in the deepest pits of hell in a vault.
Where the devil himself cannot even get to it.
Hell yeah. It was just, I'm sorry, you know what, that could have been Kel Mitchell's big break back into the limelight and getting to be a real star. But, no, that just cemented his status as nobody at that point. It's sad because Kel Mitchell was always a funny actor. I liked him. And back in Keenan and Kel and Good Burger movie, which is also another flop, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
So, no big deal there, really. But, okay. I think we've, especially me here, has yammered on enough about movies. Unless you got anything else to add.
No.
Alright, I got one last thing.
nothing.
Star Wars is awesome.
Yeah, Star Trek, Star Wars, awesome.
Okay, movies, check. We've got 2 basic topics left.
Okay.
And still about another half an hour before we want to actually end this, probably.
Yes.
Depending. We might go overboard. Who knows? It's our first
Us
time.
go overboard? No.
No, never. Okay, our last 2 topics are either the shit going on in Syria right now, which...
Oh,
This
geez.
is a mess.
Yeah.
Or what we're calling the Dead Battery Award.
Oh, man. Well, do you want to touch the Syria thing and see if we got time for the Dead Battery Award?
Let's touch on Syria because I don't really have much to say about it, so
Okay.
I think we can get through it pretty quick.
Okay.
Then we can go into the Dead Battery Award, and then we might have time to... Oh, I know there's one other thing from Reddit that I wanted to check on, too, is that 20... We'll do a lightning round of the 20 top science questions.
Oh, boy, this might be interesting.
We'll take turns, okay?
Oh, boy.
So, alright. So, Syria. If I remember right, how this started was... What? The government fired on...
Supposedly, from what they say, supposedly the government of Syria has sarin gas. And they fired it on some city within their own territory, killing, I think it was 1,300 of their own people.
Oh, Jesus, man, that's...
Now for...
So basically, for that city, that was kind of the equivalent of our 9/11. As weird as it is to put it, and it might offend people, but I don't see why it should. Shut up. You're morons. Anyway.
Well,
I mean, if that should offend you, you're morons. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Because those people are people too.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, because, I mean, that's about the rough amount that unfortunately passed away during 9/11, right?
Yep.
About 13,000.
That's close.
So,
Yeah.
So yeah, this is essentially their 9/11 right now.
Yeah.
They just had 1,300 people killed.
And
But
now,
it's even worse because they know it was by their own government.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
and-
people that conspiracy theory, air quotes again, sorry. For those of you who can't see that, but there's a lot of people that do the conspiracy theory bullshit that our government had something to do with 9/11. You know what? I don't know. Either way, I'd rather not know because God only knows what's going to happen when we find that shit out. I'm going to leave that alone for right now, and I'll worry about that some other time when I'm old and actually give a shit. Now, look, that's not to say I don't give a shit about what happened on 9/11. I hate terrorists just as much as the next true blue American. But when it comes down to it, if our government knew or not, whatever. But you know what? Fuck this. We're not here for conspiracy theories. That can be next week's episode.
it could be.
I mean, we could really make a whole thing out of that. But, you know, because water company and, you know, water gun company, toy company.
And toy company, and yeah.
It's just... Anyway, moving on.
But, like, even now they're talking about, like a civil war, possibly. And
Okay. I'm really not a type of person that keeps up the news all that well. I've been trying to lately, and actually getting the local area newspaper. Okay, enlighten me here a little bit. What is our government saying about all this?
I'm trying to find this. Well, I think Obama is trying to get Congress to let him pursue military action. It's pretty much the UN, and them or him is pretty much saying that. Which, okay, I get it, but at the same time, didn't we just get done with the war?
Well, we're not even really done with our wars yet.
Well,
Honestly.
I know. We're still basically for everybody. I don't even know that World War II ever really ended.
Honestly, to some degree, no. There's still a lot of distrust and hatred and spying going on, probably.
Well, and that's a whole different topic with the NSA BS and
yeah,
all the data mining from Facebook and
NSA, mine this.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've written on my Facebook.
I'm hoping that they'll find this very enlightening.
Yes.
Who knows? Maybe will help the government think a little bit, but I highly doubt it.
Well, because
the government doesn't think.
And I think they should get a Dead Battery Award.
You know what? Yeah. Good segue. I'll give you that. This is, again, like I said, I don't know much about what's going on with Syria, as much as I don't like it. But let's move on to the Dead Battery Award. Let's see here. The best way to explain this would be, for those of you who have heard what the Darwin Awards, somewhat similar. For those of you who haven't heard what the Darwin Awards are, it's something that somebody, I don't know who the hell does it, but it's something that people do yearly. They pick the biggest fucking moron throughout the world who somehow, unintentionally, usually, killed themselves in like the stupidest way. Surprised we haven't ended on the list yet. At the time, I'm guessing you're gonna get a rocket ship up the ass, like a full-size one scale. You know?
Oh boy.
Anyway, basically the Dead Battery Awards are, and I don't know, I can't guarantee we'll hold these weekly or monthly. It just depends. But there's a lot of stupid people in the world out there that do a lot of stupid things in the world out there. So it's quite possible that we can possibly get it out every week. We'll take recommendations if you can link us to stories or just tell us a story, whichever. As by the time this is up, we should have an email account and a Twitter account.
Yes.
So
and maybe even a Facebook. I don't know.
We might go with Facebook. It's still popular.
Yeah.
I guess. Whatever. People still use it, so screw it. We might as well.
Yeah, I may as well.
You want to go to MySpace?
No.
Zanga?
No.
No? Okay, just checking.
No. No. Who seriously uses MySpace?
Musicians.
And that's about the only people who...
Pretty much, that's why Justin Timberlake bought it, was to turn it into something like that, which is fine. I like that idea.
Oh, yeah.
But I still doubt people use it nearly enough. He probably wasted a lot of money on that. But whatever.
He probably did.
No
but
problem.
he's got enough money to waste, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Which, anyway, we'll get to musicians in a moment.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think I know who I really want to award the first Dead Battery Award.
Oh, yeah?
But anyway, the Dead Battery Award is like the Darwin Awards, but a little less damning. You don't have to die to get it. But, however, kind of like the Darwin Awards, you won't actually get a stupid little award. We don't have money right now to make that. And not everybody be...
we could give them like a little AA battery, you know.
We could, but not. I don't
just
think,
mail it to them.
I don't think everybody would completely like the idea of winning such an award and actually getting the award for it.
I mean, we'd be even cheaper and send them a AAA, just one.
Yeah, which is possible, but so we probably won't ever actually do anything like that. Except, I don't know. If you tell us your own personal stories and you'd like one, we'll see what we can do, but no promises. At least not for a while. Anyway, that's what the Dead Battery Award is. Honestly, the Dead Battery Award was originated amongst our group of friends, where Load Failure here was the first one to receive it. I'm pretty sure the first ever issued Dead Battery Award was given to Load Failure for, well, obviously a load failure.
A big load failure.
We were playing Uno, and he was the first person I've ever heard in my life ask, how many cards do I have to call Uno? Now, for people out there that didn't have a real childhood and never got to play the game, that'd be one, because that's
the name of the game.
Yeah,
Uno.
It's Spanish, yeah, something like that, for one. Hence,
And
Uno.
once I asked it, I just would...
It was one of those realization moments. I could see it in your eyes of, oh, what did I just say? And
Yeah.
some of my friends, and they're never
like,
going to let me live it down. Which, that happened, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And you haven't let you live it down yet?
Well, you shouldn't. And it was really a 404 moment. The file was not found.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure in that following 2 weeks, you earned it 2 more times somehow. I can't remember them off the top of my head. They weren't as good as how many cards do you need to have to call Uno. But yeah, so since then we've kind of made the jokes, but I think now that we have the potential to have a real standing on the internet and have people actually listen to it and maybe enjoy hearing some of these stupid stories, that we should definitely, at least verbally,
issue these awards.
Verbally issue the Dead Battery Award.
Yes.
Now, on to my, we'll go with candidates. Right now, the Syrian government is candidate. My candidate is something a little bit more American, and I say American because it completely revolves around my disappointment.
Oh boy.
Now, I'd like to think back about a couple years ago when one Miss Miley Cyrus was actually a cute girl.
Oh no.
Who works for Disney. And now, she's this, what looks like, I can't guarantee what she's actually like, I don't follow celebrity news that often, not my thing. But Miley Cyrus, I saw stuff about what she did at the VMAs this past weekend, I think it was. And all I can think of when I saw her twerking, which is apparently a new dance for mentally impaired people to do.
Oh, okay.
Sorry if that was offensive. I really have nothing against mentally impaired people. Some of them I met are the sweetest people ever. But Miley Cyrus is apparently among them. She looked like a psycho slut.
Psycho slut.
And you know what? I'll show you what twerking is later.
Oh boy.
It's one of those things, but I looked at her and I think, 2 years ago, she was this beautiful young woman who was just finally, had this opportunity to do what she wanted. She was 18. She had the potential to do anything because she had the money, she had the star power to do anything and everything and do good things. And instead, she's just gone down the same path that every other child celebrity has ever gone down, and that path
I've
of
noticed that. It's very sad.
And so that's why she's honestly my candidate for the very first. What do we want to call this? We'll call this the very first international Dead Battery Awards. Since we're including Syria, so another country, and then we're including something from America. I tell you what we'll do for this instance, since it's two of us right now, and we both have different ideas. If we get any fans that actually start listening to this, then we'll let them decide.
You know what? I like that idea.
We can put something up on. We'll put the option up on our Facebook and on our Twitter. When we hit them up and running, as soon as I get home tonight, I'll probably throw up Twitter, or I can do it from here, whichever.
Yeah.
And we'll put up the option to vote. And anybody that listens to this, go and vote and tell us what you think. Who should win the Dead Battery Award? All right. So just remember, those options are Syria and Miley Cyrus. This actually might be a tough call.
I know.
Really, as weird as it is, you're putting a idiot celebrity versus a idiot country. But honestly, this might be a tough call.
I know. And the thing about Miley Cyrus, I'm old enough, and so are you, to remember Britney Spears. And
yeah, another train wreck.
I know, and that's the exact. You know what? I had a friend of mine tell me is that she has that Miley Cyrus has the same not producer, agent or whatever that Britney Spears had, which I do not know if this is true, but if it is, it makes a lot of sense. But I don't know, in my mind, a smart person would have said, I don't think so.
Yeah,
but
honestly, I'd hate to look at if I came across that potential of stardom and all that stuff, and the first agent that come and said, yeah, I've represented Britney Spears and Miley Cyrus. You can represent that tree outside. That's about as close as you're getting to me, dude.
Yeah.
Piss off. Ain't happening. So, I don't know. Okay. So we've gone over everything on the list.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's pretty good. We have 20 minutes before we hit 2 hours, roughly. So,
and if you're still with us, you are awesome.
You know what? If you're still with us, you know, we'll send the straight jackets. Unless you've already got one, then God bless.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something along those lines.
Well, now you gotta tell us, because which color of restraint jacket you want? Do you want a white one or a black one?
Also, would you like a gold finish on the buckles, or what? You know, it's kind of, yeah.
Chrome, you know.
I mean, you know, personally, I'd like to do a mix and match, chrome to gold ratio kind of thing, even it out.
Now, that would be kind of cool.
It'd be shiny.
Like
something I could
against
stare
the
at.
black?
Absolutely.
Dude.
Absolutely, that'd be perfect. Okay, so let's go to Reddit. And,
right.
See what we can find
What
here.
we got here on Reddit? You know what? I never really could get into Reddit until you exposed me to it, and now
I gotta love how you put that.
Reddit.
Exposed you to it. That's actually a perfect way to put it. That's kind of how I got brought to it, was being exposed to Reddit in the first place. So I first started trying to get my writing out there. Met a few people. It's actually pretty entertaining. Let's see here. Let's see. Load failure is doing something real quick, and I don't know what. So I guess I am kind of soloing.
I'm thirsty.
Oh,
come on.
Refill.
Refill? Okay.
Okay, I guess
you keep rambling while I start pouring.
I can do that. I talk to myself a lot. Okay. How about this? Right now I'm looking at Reddit. Specifically, I'm on the Ask Reddit subreddit. We're looking at the question of what video game should be a movie. I think that's actually interesting. There's a lot of video games that I think people would love to see being made a movie. Honestly, in way of a game series that I'm a fan of, so it'd be long enough to actually. I never got around to that too. My favorite game series is Mass Effect. The Mass Effect series I love. I think some of the story is great. Yeah, I know a lot of people were pissed about the ending of number 3, and I get it. I do, and I like the extended cut, which is fine. So, you know, it fixes stuff. It's fine. So I'm not going to go into that. But I think Mass Effect would make a great movie series, honestly. I think the hardest part in that situation is deciding what do you want, male or female chef. There's another thing to answer if you can. What do you prefer? Do you want if they ever made a Mass Effect movie, do you want a male Commander Shepard or a female Commander Shepard to be the Commander Shepard in the movie? And I tell you what, while you're at it, tell me, who did you save? Did you save Ash, or did you save Ashley, or did you save Caden? Personally, I always chose Ashley because, well, you were a video game character, she was kinda hot. So, and load failure is back. So, perfect timing. I was just talking to the invisible people about...
Hi, invisible people.
I was just talking about the topic on Reddit here that I've seen, what video game do you think should be turned into a movie? Now, what I went with, because personally I'd love to see it, would be the Mass Effect series.
Ooh.
The tricky part, what I was saying, is that in Mass Effect, you get the choice of what do you want to be? Do you want to be a male Commander Shepard, or do you want to be a female Commander Shepard? That's been a thing since the very beginning. So the question I'm posing to them, and I'll put up on the Twitter later like I promised, is which would they prefer to see in the movie? Would they prefer to see a male shepherd or a female shepherd? And you know what? While we're at it, why don't we throw in there, if you feel like it, you don't have to do this part, but, you know, whatever. Who would you want to play that role that you choose? You can only choose one role, and who would you want to play that role? That's the question about that. Because I'm curious. I'd like to see that. Honestly, I think I'd like to see a female chef because you don't get enough heroine in the movies.
I know.
There's too many male heroes. You don't get enough female heroes and all that, so it's not. It just be more interesting to see. And as far as who I'd want to play her, that is a tough question. Personally, I am a pretty big fan of Keira Knightley. I think
I don't know that I know who.
You know who Keira Knightley is. She plays Elizabeth Swann from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, okay.
I
guess I didn't realize that was her name.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hers.
She has a name, yay!
Women have names, yay!
It's a good thing.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of hers, and I think seeing her in the so-called N7 armor would actually be kind of hot. Ooh. So I'm totally for Keira Knightley. But yeah, what would you guys want to see be made into a movie? You know what?
I've got one.
Okay, go for it.
I would actually like to see Halo.
Right, which is something that's been in talks, but
nobody can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm serious. I think like for Cortana, you could have like Jerry Ryan, or somebody. I mean,
well, that's the thing.
You got the really high computer chick girl. You seen Jerry Ryan on Star Trek Voyager 7 and 9.
Mostly I know her from Boston Republic, I think it was. But yeah.
Well,
no, I get what you mean, but I think the problem with that is they don't really need to necessarily redesign Cortana. I mean, that's something.
I wasn't gonna redesign her.
It's just that's something that it's going to be this digital character in the first place. They can stick with the original voice actress.
Oh, well then, okay.
Which the original voice actress, God, I
point.
hate it as a voice actor and actress fan. I really hate the fact that I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But I think she does a great job.
So if you come across this, we apologize. Feel free to let us remind us of your name. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Also, if you stick around and be a fan, cool. Tell Vic Mignogna I said hi. The voice actor, one of the awesome ones.
I know, right?
But yeah, I agree. I'd love to see a Halo 1 as well. I tell you what, why don't you guys, whoever's willing to listen to this crap, tell us who you think would be good for Master Chief. Although I guess in the long run it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like
not really.
It's kind of like the guy who plays Snake Eye in both the G.I. Joe movies. Honestly, you never see his face. For those of you who don't know what IMDb is and have never looked at it before, so you don't know much about people who play different characters in movies, the guy who plays Snake Eye is the same guy who actually plays Darth Maul in the Star Wars movie.
I did not know that.
Yep, it's on IMDb. I didn't know that either, but he's done several things.
So apparently we have a Darth who also
we have a Darth Ninja.
A Darth Ninja. Well, it kind of works out because he was doing some pretty crazy moves.
Absolutely. So
he was rocking out the dual lightsaber, or
Yeah, the dual blade. Yeah.
Yeah, the dual blade, dude.
That's a
if
totally
I could
different
figure out how to do a lightsaber, I'd probably, other than probably slice myself in half by accident,
yeah.
It'd be just freaking awesome.
I could do with trimming off a little bit of my fat. That'd be nice.
I'd help you with that.
You'd probably
actually, I have an idea. Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Anything that you thought of is frightening. Go ahead. I'm bracing myself.
Well, you could actually do stuff like that for surgery, because it would cauterize the wound.
Actually, yeah, that's another thing. My mom has to go in for a surgery sometime. She was actually just in the hospital earlier this week. Hell of a way to tell you. I know. Sorry about that. A lot of stuff's been going on today. Haven't had a chance to talk about it. But at least they don't figure out what's wrong. They did a CAT scan. And all that. They did a stress test, and it's not a heart. So at least there's that.
Well,
nice.
That's good.
They did a CAT scan Thursday. She was only in there for like Monday night and half of Tuesday or whatever while they were waiting for the stress test stuff. So anyway, that's actually not even the point. But it was just just something I brought up all the time. But yeah, she's fine right now. She's still in a little bit of pain. And has pain up and down the middle of the chest. I think they might have an idea what it is. If they don't get the CAT scan results back by Tuesday, then it's something major. Then she just has to wait till she actually has her next doctor's appointment. So anyway, but she's got a surgery coming up that I won't go into the details of. But it's one of those things that she was originally going with the idea of just having one of those like automatic robotic surgeries being done and all that shit. Apparently for it. But a lot of people talked her out of it. Apparently, a lot of people believe those are more dangerous. And have apparently seen results where those are more dangerous than having an actual doctor work on you. I can see where they are coming from. So I don't know. I haven't seen
I think,
notes on it.
I think it's only dangerous if you let Windows run the robot.
Yes.
And
specifically Vista.
And yeah, oh my God. Or 98. I still remember when Bill Gates brought out Windows 98 and was displaying it to the entire world, or unveiling it to the unveiling it to the entire world, and it blue screened. I was like, dude, are you kidding me?
That's epic, though.
It was, but still, as wouldn't you just feel so embarrassed?
Oh, absolutely. It'd be like being seen with you in public.
Well, yeah, and with you in public.
Absolutely. Okay, we've got about roughly 10 minutes wrapped up.
Yes, we do.
Let me look at the old phone here, because I have it on
Maybe,
here.
hopefully this will fit where we're gonna, store it.
Yep,
If not,
up your ass.
I thought we agreed to put this up your ass.
No, that's
More
next
room.
week's. That's next week's.
No.
Because next week might be longer if people actually like this shit.
Uh-oh. Scary.
So you get 2 hours for that. Okay.
So,
okay, here's something we found on
this is gonna be good.
on the science subreddit. This is going to be a pseudo lightning round because I figure you're going to be slow to answer,
Hey.
and I will be on some of them too.
Okay.
This is the big 20 questions in science. This should be entertaining.
I love science.
I'll ask the questions. How do we want to do this? I can ask questions and you answer, then I can go back and do them for me. Or I can just ask them and then I'll let you answer, then I'll answer and you go to the next one.
I think it'd be easier just to do I answer, you answer.
Okay, so wait. I say the questions and you answer then the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's start and... Okay, what is the universe made of? I guess that'll be fun.
I don't know.
That's why we have 9 minutes for a lightning round there.
I don't know. There's a lot of different things that people have thought of. They know that there's a substance in the universe called dark matter. There's more of it than, I guess, light matter? I don't know.
That's what they think that way, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, what constitutes dark matter? But anyway, I mean, if you want to get right down to it, it's just, I have no damn idea. Right. I just know there's black matter in it.
My turn?
Sure.
Okay, to refresh people on the question, what is the universe made of? It's made of matter, so what does it matter?
I like that.
Yep. Okay, next question. And again, this is a lightning round. which, if you keep acting the way you did in the last question, I'm just going to start hitting you with lightning or something electrical in general.
Now, wait a minute. I thought I was the lightning master.
No, I am Zeus. I will strike your ass down.
Damn.
This is not Pathfinder, for those of you who don't know what Pathfinder is, then a game like D&D, which we do enjoy from time to time.
Yes, we do.
Like I said, we're nerds.
Yeah.
Deal with it! Anyway, question number 2. How did life begin? I think I have a general idea of your answer on this.
Yes.
Fine, go ahead.
Okay, fine. Some of you may disagree with me, but
Which is fine, we don't care.
in the beginning was God. And God said, let there be light.
Genesis, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a totally half different take than most Christians do, but that's something I will not get into here.
Yeah, we kind of talked about the idea of not getting into religion on the podcast too much.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what we'll do next week is we will talk about it a little bit. That way, people that want to listen to us can always go back, listen, get a general idea of where we stand. That way, when we talk about it in the future, we don't have to keep going back and explaining ourselves or anything like that.
I like that.
So, anyway, let me again repeat the question for myself. And how did life begin? Big dude in the sky. I essentially believe the same thing, but in a little bit of a different manner. Again, we'll go on to the next week. Let's see here, because lightning round, and somebody has Star Charger hooked to my genitals. So, okay, here's one I actually like. Question number 3. Are we alone in the universe? Go.
I don't think we are.
Again, for the question was, number 3, are we alone in the universe? I wholeheartedly agree. I don't think we are. I honestly believe, this one we can actually take a little bit of time real quick here. I honestly believe that we are not alone, first of all, whether it be religion or evolution standpoint, wherever you stand, except for Scientology, because they're morons.
Agreed.
Again, that's next week's topic.
Yes.
No matter what you stand with, I believe that it's wholeheartedly stupid and arrogant to believe that we're the only ones. If God made us, why couldn't He make other people other places? If evolution caused us to grow on this planet, why can't other species grow on other planets that are suited for them to be able to thrive there? The basic idea that's allowed me to believe this in more recent time is that a couple years ago, I think it was, a year or two ago, something like that, the scientists found some... Oh, fuck me.
I'm getting ready to turn on the switch for this.
I'm scratching. He's going to jumpstart my balls.
Yes,
There's some microorganisms, we'll go with that were surviving off of arsenic, something that we know to be extremely poisonous to us as humans that would normally kill our asses. They found things living off it. So if there's things on our planet that can live off of arsenic, why can't there be things that can actually live off of, or live within and off of the gases in Saturn?
Exactly.
So it's never
and
get rid of the possibilities.
And actually, I've read different articles where other countries have actually said, yeah, we know there's other life out there. We don't understand why the American government won't fess up to it.
Anyway,
I'm not even going into that. But
that can fall into the conspiracy theory. We're going to have to write these down. So
I
next week,
know.
religion, conspiracy theory, aliens.
And also that they found, I think it was last week, the probe they sent to Mars found evidence of life on Mars or
Granted,
something
that can be on
like
a
that.
microscopic level usually, because it's like the idea of in the water or whatever.
Well, yeah.
But still, it's something.
It's something.
It proves that something can live on that planet somewhere to some
Exactly.
degree.
But
it had to be a very confined water species, right?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay. Again, that'll be a topic for next week. We're going to have to review this or remember what topic we have next week.
I know, right?
Okay. This one's simplistic and complicated. Number 4.
Oh, boy.
What makes us human? I think it's a little lame that I keep repeating the question for myself, so I'm going to stop that. You have to remember at home. Anyway, what makes us human?
What makes us human? Oh, shoot. I think the fact that we have sophisticated consciousness.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah.
I only say that's interesting because of the next question. I remember the question because I have it right in front of me.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I gotta agree with that. It's the idea of sentience. There's what you could call a sub-sentient to animals in the fact that, they can think, they are intelligent to some degree, but they are not intelligent enough to figure out how to make their vocal cords go, I can say words. So when it comes down to it, they can't actually talk. As far as we know.
As far as we know.
Waiting on that.
Although I've heard my dog, and she does sass you once in a while, so...
I'm pretty sure if my dog can actually speak English, human English and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure the only thing she'd say is, can I go for a ride, can I go for a ride, can I go for a ride, let me lick your face, let me lick your face. Hi there, hi, give me a treat, hi, I gotta pee. That's about it. Anyway.
I'm sure it is.
Question number 5.
Oh, boy.
This one should be tough. What is consciousness?
Oh, God.
If you didn't hear, what is consciousness?
Oh, great. Consciousness. Oh, boy.
I'll take a generalization or just a straight up,
I think consciousness is the... I don't know. A lot of people have been trying to figure that one out for years. Because if you say it's a way of thought patterns and things like that, then you essentially could say that, you could give computers consciousness, which is kind of cool and scary at the same time.
AI.
I know.
Alright.
And we already have a form of that anyway. Anyway.
I'll accept that. Okay, my point. This is consciousness. That's about the best explanation I can get because
better than mine.
There's really no reason to make it any more exceptional than that. This is consciousness. We are awake. We are functional. We know what's going on, generally. So this is consciousness. We'll put a link up to this, now I'm thinking about it, and if you guys want, you can, go ahead and, we'll figure out with Facebook or Twitter it, or just have you email it to us if you want to. You guys can send us your responses to these questions as well.
Yeah, because we kind of like hearing what other people have thoughts of.
If we find some that we actually really like, whether they be funny or serious, we'll try to get around to reading them at the end of the next podcast. But no promises.
And on that question, my eyes, I think, flash blue screen. Hence
why we call you load failure. Okay, number 6 here. This one might cause the blue screen again.
Great.
Why do we dream?
I think we dream because, it's our subconscious just kind of let loose,
You know what? I actually wholeheartedly agree with that answer. It's basically just the deep-seated thoughts occasionally coming out. If you have a hero complex like myself, then occasionally you have dreams where you're heroic, you're saving somebody, you get the damsel in distress, so on and so forth. Despite the fact that you're actually a fat-ass lump. But, whatever. Essentially the same thing.
Good.
I'm always sexier in my dreams. But then again, in my dreams, chicks are into fat guys, so... Okay. This one is another one, number 7 here. Well, it could be either really complex or not. And we're going over time, but the hell with it. This is interesting. This is entertaining.
Yeah, this is fun.
Good. Okay, why, in number 7, why is there stuff?
Why not?
Exactly. Because we need stuff, otherwise we'd be bored. If we didn't have stuff, we wouldn't have the podcast. So it works for me.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, moving on. Number 8. Are there other universes?
Yeah. Well, I've actually looked at a lot of, quantum theory and stuff, and there's no reason why there isn't. They actually think that they figured out how to make one particle exist in 2 universes at once. And, I think, what was I watching? It was, Through the Wormhole. And they were showing this, and and like how 1 minute the particle would be there in the chamber and it wouldn't be at the same time. And it's like, now wait a minute. So, yeah, there's definitely other universes. And if you're like me, you believe in heaven and hell and all that spiritual realm stuff, then I like I said, I'm actually believe that's a whole different universe.
I think I can actually agree with that to some degree. Actually with the full degree. Like a fifth degree burn. Another than this. Anyway. Well, it helped Mike.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, nevertheless, yeah, I agree. I believe that, at least in a theoretical level, that it's quite possible that the universe can exist. I believe in ghosts. And so I believe, one theoretical version is that ghosts are in another dimension, kind of slipping through, so on and so forth, whatever. Again, another topic for another time. Because again, we're already running over.
Way over.
Okay, well, we're only about
five.
But we're not even quite halfway through these. Okay,
we're close.
This one, not as good. Where do we put all the carbon?
In the dioxide. No, I'm sorry. I had to. Well, if we really wanted to, somehow we could take, collect all the carbon and send it to Mars. Terraform Mars. There's only one problem. Good solar wind comes along and blows away what we've done because there's no actual magnetic field protecting Mars from,
Whatever. The
yeah,
elements.
yeah, pretty much.
You know what? For lack of knowledge on the subject, I'm just going to agree with you.
Okay.
That's one I just don't know, honestly. Okay, number 10. Another one that I'm not really knowledgeable on, per se. So, I'll give it to you if you want it. If not, we can just both say, I have no freaking clue, and move on.
Okay.
How do we get more energy from the sun? Bigger solar panels.
Solar panels, there was the theory of what's called a Dyson sphere. Basically, you build a sphere around the sun, and it's as big as the orbit of the Earth around the sun in all directions, and you would actually be able to harness the energy of the sun more efficiently, which would be really, really cool. And really, I don't know. I don't even know how you would get so much material to build such thing. 3D printers, yes! Oh, hey, no.
It sounds fun. Alright, that's enough of that. I'm going with my idea of the bigger solar panels.
I like that. Bigger solar panels.
Okay. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
I could ramble on about this
Yes,
for
you
a while,
could,
actually.
sure.
I like alternative energy.
Number 11. What's so weird about prime numbers?
They make no sense sometimes. But I'm bad at math, so numbers hate me.
I don't understand why numbers have to be greater than each other. Why can't they all just be equal?
I know, right?
Math fun, bitches.
Brilliant!
Okay.
For those of you who drink Guinness, you'll get that.
I get that, and I don't drink Guinness.
Oh,
okay, number 12. How do we beat bacteria?
Germex?
I was going to say with a shovel, but whatever.
Okay, I'll go with the shovel. I like that.
But, yeah, that or medication. Yeah, the general idea behind it, is that every time there's a new bacteria, we're going to find a new way to cure it. Cure it, kill it, whatever. You know, so
Kill
it's
it.
okay.
Cure.
Kill it. We're just gonna mess this shit up. So,
Alrighty then.
but I still say beat it with a shovel because it's fun that way.
Dude, that would be fun.
Stupid people text me. Okay, that's good. That's my mother, and I love her.
Yeah, don't
I love you,
call
Mom.
your mom stupid.
I love you,
your
Mom. I doubt you're listening to this because I use bad words, so, you know.
She might.
She doesn't mind me saying most things, except for the word fuck. I feel a little weird that we're doing this at your parents' house right now, so I'm kind of afraid that I might offend them by using the word fuck. But that aside, fuck it. Okay, here's a simple one that you'll probably turn into something long again. Can computers keep getting faster? This is question number 14, or 13, by the way, if people keep track.
Well, actually, I think they will. I've actually, this is actually what I do. I do IT stuff, and so I'm always trying to keep up on the latest and greatest and whatever, and I still can't wrap my head around all of it. I'm sure there are people way smarter than me out there with computers, but yeah, computers will get faster and faster, and the reason I say this is because we're figuring out how to build use quantum mechanics in computing, and eventually what you'll be able to do is, instead of connecting things via copper wire or what have you, you'll be able to just connect it through quantum entanglement, which, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's it's not theory, it's an actual fact where you can take two particles that occupy different spaces and they do the exact same thing. That, you know, if one does it, the other one has to do it, and vice versa. So yeah, I definitely think it's possible. I mean, why wouldn't it get faster and faster? We're already up to, what are we up to now in computer speeds? We're like, well, shoot, I think we're almost at 5 gigahertz or 6 gigahertz processors now.
I knew this one would take me longer to answer. I'm just gonna sit back, text, whatever.
Yeah.
Cooked and ate a pizza.
Yeah. And you didn't invite me for the pizza.
You were busy talking to the invisible people, so I figured I'd watch you.
And yeah.
Look out, Slenderman's behind you.
No!
Not you, them.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, my answer, yes. Logically, yes. Our computers are always getting faster, so they're going to keep getting faster. Eventually, they're going to be so fast that they actually go warp speed. So, problem solved.
All right.
Then we figured out warp. Problem solved.
All right.
You know what? That was a simple enough answer. You really got to learn how to give those.
I do. I've never been good at that.
Yeah, you don't know when to shut up sometimes.
Sometimes I don't.
Okay, most of the time. Whatever. Number 14. Will we ever cure cancer?
I don't see why we can't.
Agreed. Especially, we talked about the whole time travel thing earlier.
Yeah.
I go forward 10 years if they had a cure for cancer, come back with it. Here we go, cure cancer.
Well,
Problem solved.
even at that, though, you think about all the genetic engineering and whatever, and genetic therapy. I was watching a TED Talk on YouTube,
I'm watching
and this woman had a MS, and she went in, I forget where, and
Microsoft.
Yeah, probably Microsoft. And no, she went into and had a gene therapy done.
Really?
And yeah, and it cured her MS.
Well, how about that shit?
Yeah.
So, in other words, I think we're getting closer and closer these days to that version of it. Will my brother see the cure? No. But will I? Hopefully, I smoke a lot.
Yeah, you're getting better.
Yeah, I know. Working
I'm
on
proud of you. You got an e-cig.
E-cigs for the win. Get one if you are a smoker. Hell, if you're thinking about becoming a smoker, get one. It's a lot better, trust me. Okay, question number 15. When can I have a robot butler? Soon, little Timmy, soon.
Very soon. I'm working on one now myself.
He really is. So if he's working on it, you got another 15 years. But
Hey,
the rest of the world,
come on.
actually, okay. I've seen a lot of the advancements that Japan has been making in the robotics field, and it's looking pretty good. It's not the greatest, but it's looking pretty good. I think we're getting there. I actually honestly give it another 10, 15 years, and I think we'll really have something.
Yeah.
So-
Affordable something.
Yeah, I think, again, the hardest part is probably going to be the AI. But, whatever. We don't want to get too far into that. That's another long-ass topic that we probably want to get to next week. We've already got a lot we have to cover next week.
Yeah.
So, okay, number 16. What's at the bottom of the ocean? Is that a failure? What do you got?
I'm going to say the bottom of the ocean.
Close enough. I'll take that. My answer? Sand.
Sand, bottom, whatever.
Moving on. What's at the bottom?
Maybe
of,
we'll find Atlantis. I don't know.
What's at the bottom of a black hole?
Probably all the files I've lost.
Yep. I'm gonna go with sand. See, I told you that'd be funny.
I like it. Sand.
Can we live forever? I hope not. Okay. Let me throw mine out there first. I had seen something else on the science subreddit. I didn't actually read into the article, but there was something that was talking about the scientists have figured out how to make mice or rats live longer, which could be the equivalent of another 16 years on a human life if done for the human for it. So it's kind of that gene therapy thing again.
Nice.
I believe if we perfect that, yeah. Do I want to? No, I'm not satisfied with my life in the first place, so I'd rather not, live even longer to experience more disappointment and depression. So,
But now in that case, if you live forever, you'll have more time to, do things with your life.
yes, but if everybody can live forever, can you imagine the hell that the population would cause?
But if
Unless
we
it may be
space travel,
Well, yes, if we do that. But who knows how long that'd take.
well, it wouldn't matter if we can live forever.
Well, yeah, to some degree, yes, we'd live long enough to see it probably, but how long until our population cap reaches an all-time high at that
That's
point?
when you
people
start
aren't-
populating.
Because, look, the idea is we've got to be able to get to that point before we hit the population cap.
Well,
So what we need to do is we need to work on space travel before we work on immortality. All those people that are working on immortality, you're doing it wrong. If you get that figured out before we've got space travel proper, then it's not going to work. We're going to overpopulate, and we're going to start eating ourselves to death.
Oh man, that would just suck.
Anyway, moving on from that ugly bullshit. How do we solve the population problem? Whoops. Let's see.
Space travel.
Not by making us immortal. But yes,
Space travel.
I guess we already answered that. Short of that, start shooting people. But I don't recommend that. You didn't
No,
do that
no,
here.
no.
It's not a good thing. Don't
No,
do that.
don't do that.
Because I don't want to be responsible.
And neither do I.
You can blame him, but no,
Hey,
I'm kidding.
no.
Don't. We're not doing that. That's not a thing. I do not condone that kind of bullshit. There's no reason to even consider the idea of taking another human's life. If you do, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I want no part of that shit.
No.
Okay, number 20. This one might actually turn out to take the longest just for you to figure out the damn answer. Is time travel possible? This is the last question, by the way, and we should be ending shortly after this. We've already gone, 17 minutes overboard. Shit. Number one.
I don't know. I think it could be possible in some way, shape, or form. There again, been watching through the wormhole, and guys actually figured out how to do that a little bit. And I'll even say that it kind of is if you can figure out how to go the speed of light. Because if you go the speed of light for 1 year, and you, and that's what, 100 years, or if you go one light year at the speed of light is 100 years, or 1,000 years, or something like that, and you come back to Earth, well, you time travel. You're in the future. Now, you can't go back in the past and whatever, back to where you were, but if you can go the speed of light for a year or even half a year or something, you've gone into the future. And even at that, if you go up in space, you actually you'll actually be slightly not younger, but like everybody on Earth will be older by like a couple of seconds or minutes or whatever than you, or I
pretty deeply younger.
Yeah.
That's along those lines.
Yeah.
I'm gonna admit it. I kind of spaced out and stopped paying attention. Right
He
now,
does that constantly.
Right now, it's 11:30 p.m. and it's been a long day.
11:31. Get it straight.
Whatever. I'm a little tired. Not nearly cranky enough.
Oh, come on.
Anyway, okay. So, I guess the next step is to start getting feedback from everybody.
Yes.
So we want your feedback. Let's do this. If you're going to try to troll us, go jump off a bridge now. I won't put up with that shit. And if you're going to try to troll us, you already suck at life anyway. So anything you say to us doesn't matter. Now
You heard him.
Now, as far as constructive criticism goes,
We'll accept that.
yeah, we'll accept that. But if it's said in an asinine way, I'll consider you a troll and, consider you jump off a bridge already. So, let's do this like human beings, because we are, obviously, unless robots started listening, then we might have
Awkward.
a little weird, having load failure and all that.
Hey now, come on.
Hey, you're the one with the computer name. At least you're not called Hewlett Packard or something.
Oh dear God.
This podcast not sponsored by Hewlett Packard.
Thank God.
Hey, there's worse.
Compact.
E-machine.
Yeah, okay, yeah. E-machine just sucks out
Like
life.
stuff in general.
Yes.
Anything with it on it.
Yes.
Just a little bit back.
It,
Anyways,
yes.
okay, let's not get there. Anyway, so leave leave your comments. Since it's a feed on YouTube,
hopefully.
or something along those lines. If it's something on YouTube, whatever, like, subscribe. I'm not going to be a total idiot about that shit.
I don't know that they'll let us put a 2 hour some odd minute.
You'd be surprised with the shit I've seen on YouTube. So,
Okay, well, then I like being wrong. Sometimes.
I like being right all the time.
I said sometimes.
Well, with him as a friend, I'm alright all the time. So, yeah, playing. Slightly. I'm not playing. I'm lying. It's bullshit. No.
I know it's bullshit. Come on.
But anyway,
No.
okay. We need to get this over with. So, leave us comments. We'll get that Twitter and that Facebook up as soon as possible so that you guys can start leaving us ideas on topics and things like that. We're more than willing to take just about any kind of topic. Like I said, next week we'll try to touch on religion, just to get that out of the way.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
It should be. We have somewhat similar ideals, but we also have very different ones on some things. So,
But that makes us get individuals. So,
we'll do our best not to berate and belittle and bash other religions, even if we believe that some of them are quite ridiculous. It's still a thing of, we wouldn't like it if people did it to us, so why should we do it to anybody else?
Exactly.
Kind of deal. So we'll try to be nice about that, even if it is Scientology. Yeah, I singled it out, but I figure I said we'd do that next week, so this week we're going to be asked.
You heard him.
Thank you so much. We love you lots and lots and lots, and let that haunt your nightmares for years to come.
Yes.
But we love you for sitting here and listening to us two dumbass assholes for the past roughly 2.5 hours going on.
Just rambling on and on.
On the first ever Week Rogue Entertainment podcast.
Yes, thank you.
And we hope you enjoyed it or hated it, depends on your views on things.
Yes.
And we hope that you can join us again next time, so that we can continue to babble like fucking morons.
And maybe the next one won't be near as long.
One can only hope, but the way we go sometimes, I doubt it. We'd be lucky if it didn't end up longer.
I know, right? 5 hours later. Oh my god!
For those of you who, okay, let's face it, none of you got to see anything that happened in this room. Thank God.
Yes.
It's kind of a mess in here.
Yes.
Just,
especially with the monkeys slinging poo and.
but I'm proud of them. They were quiet.
Yes, yes. It was.
And the dolphin, I'm pretty sure, is dead. But
Oreo.
that was the cat. Wrong story. Different story. Different people. Maybe next week we might have a third person sitting in. I don't know. That's another thing. We might do that occasionally. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking for once in my life. Again, let us know.
Lying after we stop. He'll continue.
That's true. I also have the car charger hooked to your genitals still, and I am going to turn them on.
To you too.
Yeah, I figure why not share the pain. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope that you didn't lose any brain cells by doing so. And
if you did, we cannot refund them.
Yeah, there's no refund. You get what you get and you lose what you lose. Anyway, thank you. And from Lucien Barrows and the Idiot in Disguise, Load Failure 404. Thank you and good night.
Good night.